take the whole top of the hill off to fill in down there toward where the daycare center was. Just to put in additional parking.
Y'all right there.
Wow. I'd like to have that dirt moving.
Off of this?
Oh, it's right in my leg. I mean, I can feel it through the pain.
Every
Yeah,
time
put your pants
Frank
leg up,
Higgins
I'll grab
comes
my
to
teeth.
start, it's another $10,000.
Hands
I give my teeth, rub some gas around, put some
Right
right
now there.
Oh, it's
You're
in
lucky
there.
it didn't hit you.
Well, it's
It's
Going good in that direction. Okay. You ready to go?
Yeah.
You unmuted?
Yep.
All righty. It's 5:02 p.m. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll begin with a quick roll call. Mr. Barton?
here.
Mr. Freshair?
Here.
Dr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Chapman?
Here.
Dr. Benny?
Here.
Everybody's here. Well, everybody will stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty, we have no delegations at this time, so that'll move us into reports, and we'll start with Math Field Day winners, 4th grade through 8th grade. Dr. Benny.
As you can see, we had a lot of participants, very good turnout. We had some folks that went to regionals and did pretty well. And we'd like to highlight those folks here tonight and then get a picture of everybody individually with the board behind them, if you don't mind doing that. So this certificate reads, Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Grady Tumblin for receiving first place Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day.
Let's go, Raider.
Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Brennan McIntyre for receiving second place Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day.
You want to wait just do them all at one time? For like us?
Yes. I'm just going to have them step right over here.
Like one at a time or all together is what I was saying.
Well, I'll get those.
Oh, okay.
Just
We're
gonna
gonna
Stand here.
This is for the yearbook.
Yes, ma'am, right here.
All right, the next one, Certificate of
Yeah.
Achievement.
That's fine.
This award is proudly presented to Kate Smith, third place. Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Lucy Hutchinson for receiving fourth place, Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. Congratulations. We'll get one big picture at the end. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Jacob Morris for receiving 5th place, Gilmer County Schools math field. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Jace Matson for receiving 1st place.
Jake, hold that pose. Smile, come on, give us a smile.
Did you read what that was for? Then the clapping started, I didn't hear it all.
He has the certificate over there.
Totally wasn't because of me.
Why do I have to wait?
What's that?
Would you just tell me what that certificate was for? You said 2 words and clapping started and I couldn't understand.
It says Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to, and it said Jace Matson.
For what though?
First
Jason.
place.
First place in the
First
Gilmer
place,
County
yeah.
Schools math field day.
Okay.
Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Jacob Morris for receiving 5th place in Gilmer County Schools math field day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Ava Madrano for receiving 2nd place in Gilmer County Schools math field day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Ezra Minnie for receiving 3rd place in Gilmer County Schools math field day.
Joe Ezra.
Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Thomas DeWall for receiving 4th place Gilmer County Schools math field day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Phoebe Bailey for receiving 5th place Gilmer County Schools math field day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Briar Bonnet for receiving 1st place Gilmer County Schools math field day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Jonathan Mullins for receiving 2nd place in Gilmer County Schools math field day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Morgan Goff for receiving 3rd place in Gilmer County Schools math field day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Arad Frederick for receiving 4th place Gilmer County Schools math field day.
Maybe you'll get somebody up here if I sit down.
Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented Rovon Holton for receiving 5th place. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Lamaya Chambers for receiving 1st place Gilmer County Schools math field day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Isabella Greenlee for receiving 2nd place at Gilmer County Math Field Day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Kaylee Tony for receiving 3rd place Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Reese Klum for receiving 4th place in Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Avery Whipke for receiving 5th place in Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Abram Minnick for receiving 1st place in Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Alexis Ayers for receiving 2nd place in Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Landon Hartshorn for receiving 3rd place in Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Ava Bush for receiving 4th place in Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. And Certificate of Achievement. This award is proudly presented to Zoe Hess for receiving 5th place in Gilmer County Schools Math Field Day. All right, we're going to get one picture of the whole group. If you guys can come up and stand before the board. Try to get you arranged here. Can you get everybody in there? Give these guys.
Congratulations.
You slide, James.
All right, at this time, you all are more than welcome to leave if you need to, or you can stay for the rest of the meeting.
Start mandating people stay.
I'm telling you, we can recess for 5 minutes.
Yeah. That'd be all right. Carrie, she just left. She could have helped get that out of there.
We know you can't do it by yourself.
I'll pull it out of there. I promise you that. It's hurt.
All righty, our next item on the agenda is the special education audit presented by Ms. Shelley Mason.
I had Lisa email you the findings. Does anyone want to paper copy to look at while I go over it?
I think we all got paper copies.
You all got paper
Yeah.
copies? Right, perfect. So I'm going to start out, there were 2 documents that was sent. One is the correction key, which explains exactly what the correction needs to happen on our part to fix the finding. So that was one document. It starts out with the AF1, and then it's finance, and then it's to be determined for violation, and it just goes down and explains what the letters on the audit mean. So I'm going to start on the actual LEA compliance monitoring report, and on the first page, the AF4 and AF8 were findings. And one of the things when you're talking about audit findings is 80%. 80% have to meet that compliance, or it is a finding. So when you look at the AF4 instructional grouping, you can go back and you can look at the correction key, and it's hard to understand if you don't know a little bit of background about what AF4 means. So under AF4, when you look at that as a finding, what happened was on the master schedule in one room, we had 11 kids in the class, but for some odd reason, when they were in there reviewing that classroom, there were kids from another class in there. Not that they're scheduled in there. We are under the 12 students, which is compliant with policy 2419 at a level 1. But for some odd reason, there were kids in there. So I'm going to send the roster proving that we actually are not out of compliance to that. Another thing that was found was we had a math class that was at 38% special ed students. And in 2419, you can only be at 30%. And with that, I just wrote a waiver to the state. And Dr. Vinny has submitted it, and that would be in compliance for that finding. Any questions on AF4? So if you move down to AF8, which is requiring correction, what that is service verification minutes. So what has happened is we sent in a master schedule, and in that master schedule, they ended up checking the IEP minutes with the bell-to-bell master schedule. With one of the students, there were 3 kids that were found non-compliant. With one of the students, what had happened was in the master schedule, it was listed as learning skills, but on the IEP, it was listed as living skills. So it's a clerical error. As we were moving through the IEP, it's still the same standards, but we went back and we changed the IEP to where it says learning skills instead of living skills. That was one finding. And then the other findings, when I talked with the State Department, what had happened there was on the elementary special ed master schedule, we had a course that was split, and they didn't count both of those pieces of that 30-minute section to make a 60-minute block of math. So I pointed that out, and that is corrected as well. The other part that falls under AF8 is discipline. And with discipline, we're looking again at clerical issues. So a lot of those was an input in WEVIS. And what we found there was if a student was expelled, what it showed was in 2 of the cases, and again, just trying to get information in, that they had conferenced with the parents for 365 days, and they had 1 day of expulsion. So they interchanged those numbers. The other thing was when we are looking at discipline, you don't put in 365 days. Even though they're expelled for a year or 2 consecutive semesters, it's actually 180 school days. So we really do need to look at the school days and put 180 instead of 365. And I've talked with the school administrators on both of that. The other thing that was found was we weren't inputting attendance for ALC. So the attendance was being sent, and then it just wasn't accurately reflected in WEVIS. So I have worked with other counties, and I've worked with the attendance director to get that fixed as well. So we do have attendance showing for ALC students. And then the final thing was the PBIS at the high school level. So we have PBIS at the elementary and the middle school. We just need to make sure we include that in the high school. So those are the issues for AF8. Are there any questions on that one? So if you go over into the next one, and another part, they may be on site and they looked at the class sizes and they looked at the number of students in the classrooms. The next thing they did was the file review. And again, you're looking at that 80%. So if your cell size is very small, so if you're only looking at 2 kids and one of them has had a finding, then you automatically are out of compliance because that leaves you at 50%. So if you look at this, you've got your items, and you can again look at the correction key to give you an indication of what that is, and then the topic, and then what the authority is or the law, and the next column is the sample size. So that gives you an idea If we only are looking at 2 kids and one is out of compliance, then we automatically are out of compliance. So GS2, which is prior written notice, we had 6 IEPs that had an issue. And what that was, and I've given you a sample of a prior written notice if you actually flip through your paper. It's a prior written notice on the back. What happened was people were taught to put in 2419 as a consideration. Well, 2419 is what we're being told now is always a consideration because that is West Virginia's policy. We need to have something else in there more specific to the student's need. So there were 6 of those that had incorrect, they had 2419, not that that's not correct, but it needed to be specific for the student. It wasn't specific enough. If you go on down to MN2, which is your meeting notice, what that was when we send out high school meeting notices, if a student turns 14 within the time frame of the IEP, we have to consider transition services. And again, it's just a clerical error. If you flip on back through your paper, you can actually see a meeting notice. And what they're doing is they are checking that we are having an IEP meeting, it's either an initial or annual. But they have to go down there because it's not on every IEP, or it's not considered in every IEP. They forgot to check that transition services were being considered. So any questions on that page with GS2 or MN2? When I talk to the state, of course, I don't like to have findings, that it's a lot of human error. Like we're going through the paperwork and we're just not checking and getting everything marked correctly. If you flip to the next page, IEP 3, which is ESY, that's extended school year. The cell size was only 2, and what had happened with that one was the IEP was not finalized. So it was never completed in the state size, so we went back and finalized it for an extended school year service. Any questions on IEP 3? All right, if you flip on over, you're looking at AS1, and it's all statewide assessments of West Virginia measures of academic progress. And what that is, you're looking at a cell size of 12. Those are the kids in grades 3 through 8 or grade 11. And what happens is we are marking testing accommodations that are not being addressed in the PLEP or the present levels. So, for example, we had a kid who had human read aloud. Well, that was not stated as something in the PLEP. So it didn't say, that student needed human read aloud because they struggled with working on the computer. And the student does need that. It just needs to be put in the PLEP. Any questions on AS1? If you go on into DC1, which is the next finding, the red, it's discipline. And I've already mentioned this before, but we had 365 days of parent conferences and 1 day of expulsion. And again, that's just where someone just mixed those numbers up. So we flipped those and that is fixed. And then again, people are putting in 365 days and it should be 180 school days. Another thing that we had found was that they had actually expelled someone for 181 days instead of the 180 for the full school year. So again, some clerical errors that we've cleaned up. If you go on down to DC6, which is teacher consultation, on the DARF form, they were missing the teacher's signature. We had completed them, the principal signed them, the principal teacher hadn't signed it. And then the PBIS is DC7 for the high school, and we've got a plan in place. I've worked with Mr. Fox, and he's got a PBIS plan worked out. So overall, I'm very pleased with the special ed audit. It's just clerical stuff that we're trying to clean up. And then, any questions?
Shelley, you said there was each section had to be above an 80. So is there a composite score that you have to meet after out of all the sections?
No. You have to address each individual section, and then after we upload them, then we'll get our letter saying that we are now compliant.
Okay.
Or not compliant.
Okay.
The follow-up is with the discipline, because it was corrective action, and then we have meeting notices. That was an issue.
Okay.
So what they'll do is they'll contact me and they'll make me pull 3 more names, and I'll send that information in just to make sure it has been fixed.
Are the due dates enough time to get everything done?
It's due May 29th, so I'm working on it right now to
Right.
have Dave fix this.
Do they set the dates?
They set the dates, yes.
Thank you, Shelley, for taking over special education
Thank
and
you,
getting us into
Shelley.
compliance. I know it was a massive job and took a lot of work, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
100.
All right.
Can I get that recess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion for a recess.
Okay. Is there a second? How long of a recess, Brett?
5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and second. We recess for 5 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're recessed for 5 minutes.
Tony has a splinter in his leg.
To arise from recess.
Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved and second. We arise from recess. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Our motion carries. We are back in open session, and we'll begin under the consent agenda with approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of February 24th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 2025.
Second.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, that's 24,
Yeah,
2025.
24, 25. Yes.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 24th, 2025. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to the next set. Approval minutes of the special meeting of February 27th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of February 27th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the special meeting of February 27th, 2025. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, now we're to approval of bills for payment. Ginger, you have the floor.
So I apologize for the last minute addition this morning. I was reviewing bills this morning, because Devin and Erthman and I reviewed them. We found one small, electric bill that wasn't added. Those are hard because we get so many and they do tend to stick together. So that's what that extra batch was for this morning. You can disregard the batch for Veritas because we actually gave that to you at the last meeting. That was just an oversight, sending it to you twice. And then I want to talk about the Gordon's batch. So the entire batch just says Gordon Food Service, if you want to turn to that. And then the other piece that I sent you this morning was the email from Joe to me explaining what had happened, why we are just now paying some of these leases, even though some of them are older. And this is how we're going to do this from now on. Rather than me coming here and telling you what happened secondhand, I've asked, in fact, in the packet last week was the memo from Sherry. I've asked the director to send that to me and then on to you. And then if you have any questions, of course, I can help you work through it. But it was, no fault of our own, no fault of theirs, really. It just happened to be a miscommunication. So this should completely catch us up and we should just be moving forward after that. That's really all I had, unless anyone has questions.
Your questions for Ginger?
Make a motion to approve the bills for payment.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve all the bills for payment as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. Let's see. We'll move into new business and start with approval to change agent of record for workers' compensation. I don't know if that's Ginger or Dr. Manning, but either are working. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
Ginger.
so we are required to have an agent of record for our workers' compensation coverage, just like everyone has an agent for their, vehicle insurance, et cetera. And when I came to Gilmer, we were with a specific company, and I just didn't feel like we were getting the customer service from them that I had experienced in the past with a different company. And there is no money transacted for this whatsoever on Gilmer County's part. All of this is through the insurance agencies to the agents themselves. So there's no it's no more expensive or anything. I just felt like it would give us a little better customer service. So I put those documents in your folders so you would have what it looks like to do that. And then I'll have Dr. Minnie sign those if you approve.
Dr. Manning, you have a recommendation for that item?
Yeah, I make a recommendation to approve the change agent of record to Assured Partners of West Virginia for workers' compensation.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the change of agent of record to Assured Partners of West Virginia for workers' compensation. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. That'll move us to the WVU Extension Service Budget MOU. We have Ms. Daisy Bailey to present that.
Good evening. As always, Extension thanks the board for the support, the financial support to help 4-H and agriculture in the county. You'll see, I believe you all have a copy of the MOU. On the 25th, we had our Extension Service Committee and met and went over those MOUs to the Board of Education and County Commission. We get typically $25,000 has been kind of standard since I've been in extension with the Board of Education. So that is the request for this year for that MOU. Things are pretty similar as last year. We've had to shift a little bit money around, of course, and I'm sure y'all are dealing with it. Our fringe benefits have increased on our secretary through WVU with insurance costs and those type of things. So we did have to shift some funds that way to cover that. And just trying to tighten our budget down a little bit more when it comes to cost of supplies and stuff like that. And maybe not being able to put as much towards 4-H camp, or sometimes we would pick up a couple classes or whatever, depending on how much money we kind of have floating around. And that kind of always works because we're at the end of the year. So we kind of like, oh, we got a little bit extra fund, we can put some money towards this. But, and we'll just see how that goes. For the most part, I think we're pretty steady where we are right now and shifting those funds around. I know I was at the commission meeting last week to get that MOU approved, and the county clerk mentioned that the next levy cycle would be, our levy request would be due like in December. So I'm assuming you guys would be on the same levy cycle. And I know last year we mentioned about possibly having discussion of whether we could increase that levy portion from you all and so forth. So just want to, see about opening the discussion with that and when we should have that discussion and with you all and how to go about that. Because we haven't done that since I've been here and since I've been the county program coordinator. And I want to be open about what we use money for, the funds we use them for, and what you guys are getting out of that. And I think you realize, Jamie's not here tonight. She's actually headed to DC for the Ignite by 4-H conference. She's on the planning committee, and then I will actually leave Wednesday with 6 kids and a chaperone to head that way as well. We'll be there Wednesday through Sunday. So she already left this morning. We'll do that as well. But so I think we do a lot of stuff in the schools, ag in the classroom. Jamie's pretty much made it to every grade from kindergarten, preschool through I think 7th and 8th. And doing that, we've done a lot of ag in the classroom activities, the 4-H after school program, and so forth like that. So but if you have any questions about the budget, anything our MOU, feel free to ask. We're pretty much an open book.
Ginger, my question is that, is that the same as we've normally done in the past and everything looks okay on your end?
And when's the next, our levy, is that a year?
Jeans, I think they're gonna run it May of 2026, but it does not take effect until July of 2027.
So that's next year then.
I guess.
Is that right?
No.
I
thought we had like another 3 years.
I
I thought we had 3 years. I thought we had 3 years. Like, yeah.
Well, I believe last year was the first year of that new levy call, like 24.
So we'd have this year and then next year's when if we were gonna change something,
I think so.
Any other questions for Daisy?
I know there's been times we've been, the vital service levy has run the same time as the school board levy, and I think it just depends on how those election years line up.
Yeah.
And where they might end up being on the same.
Well, we can check that out and get back to you on that.
I just want to make sure that we know and what I need to do, and, we're not caught off guard and try to get that scheduled. And
well, and we may want to make some changes
Yeah.
to our part of the levy too. So.
Okay, thank you, Daisy, for coming
No,
to
thank
present. Dr. Minnie, is there a
I
recommendation on
recommend
this?
making a motion to accept the annual memorandum of agreement with WVU Extension Service for the financial support of extension work.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to accept the annual memorandum of agreement with the WVU Extension Service for financial support of extension work. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right. That'll take us to the next new business item, which is discussion of Brooklyn Field. And I believe Mr. Chapman requested this item, so I'll let him open.
Yeah, so I don't know, some of you might know that they are getting ready to start construction on the GSU or Glenville University's field. And supposedly the kind of the whispers are that that field is not going to be able to be used in the coming fall. With that being said, we have home games, and I would like to see, JT, can you speak on any of what you've been told about the field and the usage coming in this coming year?
Right, what you've said is all I've got is it's kind of in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Tony, you have anything?
I followed up with GSU today, and same as what I've been told the whole time. I talked with Tommy Ratliff, and Tommy told me, there's not going to be the home side and press box will be torn out. There's still going to be enough bleachers to have our home games there.
There will be a field too.
There'll still be a field, scoreboards and so forth. That'll go into a different phase. So the first phase during the fall, they're still concerned about having the college games there because there's not quite enough seating there for the college games, but they think that, we'll be fine. He's assured me that if it changes, he'll call me immediately. He hasn't called me. So kind of what people are hearing in the communities are whispers like it's starting. And the project is starting.
Yeah, it is starting. That's for sure.
So I think that it's just like, well, wonder if they'll have football games there. We do plan to have our home football games there. And we're also hosting a kickoff classic there where we're going to have other teams come and play and fundraise for our athletic program there. Those things are going to continue to happen. The demolition of that one side of the press box is going to happen, but there should be enough seating there to allow us to play our games there and so on and so forth on the away side. And if I hear anything different, I will immediately put it on the board agenda for us. But as far as Brooklyn, we are doing some things at Brooklyn. We've kind of started the fix up of the middle school baseball field. They're kind of practicing there. We've gotten sand for it. We're talking about maybe getting some set up a fence so they don't lose all their balls in the river behind first base because that happens there. And we've got some other things planned with maintenance. We're going to do some painting. We did some maintenance to it already this past year. We plan on painting some of the locker rooms. We did some maintenance around. We had some drainage and things that needed fixed. We did some maintenance to that. And we've added internet services so they can actually watch game film and things like that there. So we are taking an active role in fixing up. We will probably have to have the discussion. Probably isn't going to be this spring, but after they get the one section of GSU complete and they go to tear down the other bleachers, do we want a scoreboard? Do we want a bleachers? Do we want to be able to simulate a game? And what that would cost us to have another conversation. But it sounds like to me they're going to start on the press box side first. So that's going to be what would be available for us. And the scoreboards and things I'm guessing are still going to be there this year.
So that's why I wanted, just so we could assure the people that we do have a plan. And that the only other thing we talked about a scoreboard, to have something to, because that's kind of nice to be able to host anytime you're hosting for people to look at the scoreboard. But also public restrooms. That was like kind of the other one people kind of question you. So there's always like a public restroom because we're going to host people. So
You mean which at row ball or?
right.
Oh yeah,
Yes, of course.
yeah.
Just
We
to
would
have-
have to
just
figure that
have
out.
Figure a public
Yeah.
restroom out. And I mean, we have facilities. They're right there in the field house, but to make them publicly accessible, I know it was done at one time.
Yeah,
Nothing's changed. Nothing changed with the bathroom since we played down there.
No, and it's not much bathroom space when you get a big
Yeah.
crowd down there. So,
No, I
When
don't
we
think.
were kids.
No.
well, maybe probably on the
No.
far side of the field.
The only restrooms are the
remember
two
that.
that were
Yeah.
in the field
On the
house.
end of the building, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, can you mention some of those maintenance things that we're doing? Is there a separate fund for that area, or is it just coming out like when we do those maintenance to that building? Is that just in the
It's
general,
usually
is that
coming out of the
specific?
handyman fund that we've created, and those are some of the things that I don't know if you guys have looked, but some of that building was deteriorating. They've patched it up, painted, made it look nicer. Some of it's making sure we got wiring to get internet in there and those types of things. But it's still the same place. It's not like we've, one of these days we're going to have to put a new roof on it. It's going to need that. But, we've secured the roof and it's not leaking. It's in okay shape right now. But we use that as a practice field. We need to keep it to a certain standard so we can have practices there. The middle school baseball team has taken a tractor in and they've rolled the field and they're trying to get it fixed up. We could probably do some things like replace some lights so they could practice at night if they wanted to, simulate a night game. And we probably need lights down there as well for our football team. You need to practice under lights a few times before you go out and play games under them. So there's a few little things like that we could do. Some of the things that wouldn't be very costly that we could do. It's hard to simulate a game without a play clock. If we had a play clock, 25-second clock, they would be able to run a lot more game simulation in practice.
You got iPhones.
And I'm sure that's what they're doing right now.
Then we need a white screen and a projector.
So we've put some technology down there. We've got so we can do huddle down there so they can watch game film and analyze stats and things, trying to get them where they can do some of the same things that other teams are having in that facility. And we're going to just plug along as we go. And we got some things like lockers. The equipment's heavy. The boys are rough, and there's some doors and things and wear items that need replaced, and we're going to replace them and paint them and things like that to keep it up.
Thank you, Dr. Minnie.
Any further discussion on Brooklyn Field from anybody?
We can move on. No.
All righty. Hearing none, we'll move on. There's no old business, so that'll bring us to personnel. Dr. Minnie.
Professional recommendation, Dylan Day, substitute teacher.
Make a motion to approve the professional section of the personnel agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the professional section of the personnel agenda. Any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to service.
Service recommendation, Johnny Eisenhart, retirement, bus operator, effective 6/30/2025. Recommendation, Tracy Speck, cook 2, GCHS. Recommendation, Marshall Beaver, substitute bus operator. Recommendation, Marlene Minnie, substitute cook. Recommendation for Desiree Rogers, substitute cook.
Make a motion to approve the service portion of the personnel agenda.
Second. Hold on
Okay.
1 second.
Oh,
I think we got a
and
clarification
another
there.
one, this one wasn't filled in there. It's on my paper. Recommendation of Leslie Turner for ECAT, Gilmer County Elementary School.
Make a motion to approve the service portion of the personnel agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the service portion of the personnel agenda. Any further discussion or amendments to that main
What's
motion?
that ECAT?
Early, yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, on to extracurricular.
Recommendation of Robert Smith, resignation, head Mini Titan boys basketball coach, effective 2/28/25. Recommendation to hire Caleb Conrad, auxiliary varsity softball coach. Recommendation for hire Andrea Russell, auxiliary Mini Titan softball coach. Better get my paper out here. Is there any? Recommendation to hire Larry Gwynn, head varsity girls track coach. Recommendation to hire Clinton Hartshorn, auxiliary Mini Titan baseball coach. And recommendation to hire Lisa Dobbins, assistant varsity volleyball coach.
Make a motion to accept the extracurricular portion of the personnel agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the extracurricular portion of the personnel agenda. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right,
Felt like you hit that thing extra
all
hard.
right. We're going to move into the first expulsion hearing, and Lisa, you need me to stop here for a second, don't you?
Yes. And I'm actually going to have to walk down.
Can we just, let's take another 5-minute recess?
Make a motion to take a 5-minute recess.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and second. We take a 5-minute recess. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Session. Okay. Where am I at? All right. All good.
Give us 1 second. We got to get the display.
Yep, no problem.
Okay.
Good. Okay. All right. The board is now convened to conduct a hearing upon the superintendent's recommendation. Can you give me the student number, Dr. May?
E004.
Okay. Be expelled. My name is Cody Moore, President of the Gilmer County Board of Education. At this time, I would invite the other members of the board to introduce themselves. We'll start with Mr. Barton.
My name is Larry Barton.
Dustin Freshour.
Hillary Miller.
Brett Chapman.
Okay. And if everybody will just state their names around the room for the record.
Tony Minnie, Superintendent.
Ginger Altizer, treasurer.
Myra Miller.
Glenville Democrat.
Yeah.
J.T. Fox, principal of Gilmer County High School.
If you'll state your name. Okay. You state-
Edmund Brown.
Okay. All righty. So we've done that. We will proceed in the following order. The administration will be asked to give an opening statement about the charges against the student. Then the parent will be asked to give an opening statement about the charges against the student. Generally, for an opening statement, the parent will state whether the student is guilty or innocent of the charges and then give the board any explanation or other evidence that they desire. Next, the administration will present its witnesses and any other evidence that they may have. After the administration finishes questioning each witness, the parent may ask the witness any questions that they have about his or her testimony and the charges against the student. Board members may, but are in no way required, to ask questions of each witness. Then the parent may present his or her or their witnesses and any other evidence that they may have. The following general rules will apply to this hearing. All testimony shall be taken under oath and recorded by mechanical means. The rules of evidence shall not apply. The standard of proof is a preponderance of the evidence, which means more than likely not. All relevant evidence, including any hearsay, may be omitted. If there is an objection to a question or the introduction of a piece of evidence, you must state your objection and explain your objection briefly. I, as the presiding officer, shall rule on all objections before the hearing will continue. However, any board member may demand that the ruling of the presiding officer be put to the vote of the entire board. And in that case, the vote of the board will be the final ruling on the objection. Generally, it is not appropriate to object to a question or the introduction of evidence unless you believe the same is not relevant to these proceedings. After the hearing, the board may conduct deliberations in private from the party. Shoot, let me restart again. After the hearing, the board may conduct deliberations in private away from the parties. So at this time, the administration, do you have an opening statement?
Yeah, first of all, I want to just remind Mr. Fox and anybody that's presenting evidence on behalf of the school that we need to use the student number is E004 when we speak about the student, not use any identifying information and names because it is an open hearing. So just remind everybody to do that. On March 1st, I was sent a letter that it was a formal recommendation for expulsion of E004, an 11th grade student at Gilmer County High School, due to a serious violation of West Virginia Department of Education Policy 4373 and West Virginia Code 18-2-C-3, both of which prohibits harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Following a thorough investigation, it was determined that student E004 was responsible for creating and maintaining an online Instagram account referred to as the GCHS Burn Book. This account was used to target, harass, and publicly humiliate multiple students within our school community through derogatory posts, harmful comments, and the intentional spreading of rumors. The conduct is in direct violation of West Virginia Code 18-2C-3, which defines bullying as an intentional, written, verbal, physical, or electronic communication that is reasonable for a person to know could cause physical harm damage property, create fear or harm, or contribute to intimidating, threatening, or emotional abusive educational environment. Additionally, West Virginia Department of Education Policy 4373 explicitly prohibits bullying, harassment, intimidation of all forms, including through electronic communications and social media platforms. Student E004's action created a hostile and emotionally unsafe environment for multiple students, significantly disrupting the educational process and violating the rights of others to feel safe at school. And I'll let Mr. Fox complete. That would be my opening statement, and Mr. Fox could go with his evidence.
Mr. Fox, before you begin, can I swear you in real quick? Mr. Fox, do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, or to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You go ahead.
Okay, on February 26th, I was made aware of an Instagram post that were used to publicly humiliate multiple Gilmer County High School students through derogatory posts and harmful comments. These actions created an unsafe and hostile environment within our school community for the following 2 days after this. After a thorough investigation involving student E004, as well as the West Virginia State Police, it became clear that this behavior violated the West Virginia Policy 4373 and West Virginia Code 182C3. Both of which prohibit harassment, intimidation, and bullying. After this investigation, it was found that student E004 was responsible for this Instagram post with multiple students. I do have some pieces here. Dr. Minnie, I don't know if these do have student photos on them. Can this be shared at this time?
Yeah, they can be submitted as evidence.
So I do have several of these here. These are pieces from the Instagram, the best that I can get from these. And if you guys would like to take a moment to glance at those, there are multiple copies of this with that. The next piece I do have is a memorandum of conference with student E004 during our investigation, and a written statement where student E044 admits to having the Instagram account.
What day was that?
This was on the 27th, and it is dated, the memorandum is dated.
Okay.
And I'll also share that if you'd like to see it.
And you're submitting both of those as evidence, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Once again, after a thorough investigation which involved the West Virginia State Police, it became clear that this behavior violated the West Virginia Policy 4373 and West Virginia Code 182C3, both of which prohibit the harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Given the severity of these violations and the negative impact on our school environments, that is why I have recommended it for the expulsion and to ensure for the expulsion is to ensure the safety and well-being of our students and uphold the respect and support of educational atmosphere at Gilmer County High School.
You have anything else at this time, Mr. Fox? Okay, all these posts and Mr. Fox's letter will be admitted as evidence for the record. And so once the board is done with those, if we'll pass them to the administrative secretary, she'll put them back for the evidence table. Okay. The board is still looking at those. We'll begin. The student or the parent can make their opening statement. If you don't mind, if you'll just come up to the podium so we have it there on record.
No.
And then, yep. And you may begin whenever you like with your opening statement.
She's guilty. I don't think she was the ringleader. I know she wasn't the ringleader. I think the recommendation for expelling her for 2 semesters is setting her up for huge failure for her senior year. Yeah, she deserved punishment, no doubt. She's receiving punishment to the best of my ability. But if she's gonna be expelled for whole first semester for senior year, I mean, I just feel like what? That's setting her up for failure. Because she's not gonna graduate on time, because she's not gonna learn anything. I'm not a teacher, I'm a nurse.
Okay. You have anything else you'd like to share with the board? Does she have anything that she would like to share with the board?
She won't.
Okay. Do you have any, so you've already had one witness. Did the administration have any other witnesses that they need to, or witnesses to call about the situation? Okay, they have none. Do you all have any witnesses or anything that you need to have any further information? Okay. All righty. Does the administration have a closing argument then?
Mr. Fox, do you have a closing argument, closing statement?
Yes, and that's what I wanted to touch base with, is this as an issue going back in the school, is trying to get a grasp on these things and to clean these pieces up, and with the severity of these violations and impacting not just the school, but these students individually, would like you to take this in consideration.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fox. Dr. Minnie, do you have any closing statement?
The only thing that I would like to point out is that this site was, you can see at the top, it says GCH burn book. And one of the reasons why we took this, they used the school logo, got this out to all the students. So everybody saw, it was not a hidden, this wasn't a one-off type of, sending this to another student. This was a place where people shared out the information tremendously, which, as you can see, had a lot of different students involved. And I think that we need to take that into consideration for the severity of what's going on. It's not just one person saying something negative online. It was created in the name of the school, GCHS burn book, and that was one of the things that grabbed my attention with it. A lot of people, had the misconception this is something put out by the school. So just wanted to share that piece of information with you.
Okay. All righty. Does the parent or the student have any closing statement or anything else they'd like to tell the board? All righty. They do not. So, if I can have a motion to go to executive session for the board to deliberate.
I move pursuant to 6-9-43 of the West Virginia Code that the board go into executive session to decide upon disciplining, suspension, or expulsion of any student in any public school or public college or university unless the student requests an open meeting.
All righty. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. It's been properly moved and seconded to go to executive session for a student expulsion hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will return.
We'll knock him out.
All right, do you have a motion to rise from executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, it's been properly moved and second. We rise from executive session. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty, we are now reconvened back in open session. Dr. Manning, we'll hear the superintendent's recommendation.
I recommend that student E004 be expelled for not more than 2 consecutive semesters and be located at the ALC at the Calhoun Gilmer Career Center Day Program, if space is available. I also recommend that transportation be provided as long as no issues riding the bus to the Career Center, and there's good behavior on the bus. I also recommend that each 9 weeks, the high school principal review the student's status. If they maintain a C average, have good attendance, and 0 discipline referrals, they will be considered to return to ALC and participate in school at Gilmer County High School.
Make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation for this expulsion hearing for student E004. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, and that'll conclude this expulsion hearing.
And we'll have a placement meeting at the Calhoun Gilmer Career Center. Mrs. Minnie and Mr. Fox will help you, get when you start and how transportation works and all of those different things. And we will try to get you in and get started on making sure that you're able to maintain where you're at with your grades and your completership for this year and next year.
Not to speak out of turn, but you also had told us that about, at the end of each semester, seeing how she in the progress and the possibility of leaving that earlier.
Absolutely. So if those stipulations in that recommendation are met, we can possibly get her back to school quicker than that. Okay?
All right. And you all are free to leave if you need to, or you can stay for the rest of the meeting. Thank you. Yep, I'll give Lisa a second or two.
You didn't have to view the evidence. There were some one-liners in there, man.
All right.
We ready?
Yep, we're good down this way. Okay, we'll begin expulsion hearing number 2. There's no, I guess we'll remain open, or because there's.
Closed, probably.
Close.
I
Don't see why not to remain open. We can just use the student number.
there's no representative here to determine that
Yeah.
possibility, so I'll leave that to the superintendent.
We can stay open. I'll just use the student
Okay.
number.
It's all right. You're out.
We're going. Get us dinner going.
Okay, we'll continue. All righty, we'll continue in open session. So let me go through this. All right, the board is convened to conduct a hearing upon the superintendent's recommendation. Can you give me a student number, Dr. Manning?
E005.
Okay. My name is Cody Moore, President of the Gilmer County Board of Education. At this time, I would invite the other members of the board to introduce themselves. Would the parties please identify themselves for the record, starting with the administration's representative? I think that's Mr. Fox. If you'll just state your name for the record.
JT Fox, principal of Gilmer County High School.
Larry Barton.
Dustin Freshour.
Hillary Miller.
Brett Chapman.
Tony Minnie, superintendent.
Ginger Oshauser, treasurer. Myron Miller, newspaper.
All righty, thank you. We will proceed in the following order. The administration will be asked to give an opening statement about the charges against the student. Then the parent will be asked to give an opening statement about the charges against the student. Generally, for an opening statement, the parent will state whether the student is guilty or innocent of the charges, and then give the board any explanation or other information that they desire. Next, the administration will present its witnesses and other evidence. After the administration finishes questioning each witness, the parents may ask that witness any questions they have about his or her testimony and the charges against the student. Board members may, but are in no way required to ask questions of each witness. Then the parents may present his, her, or their witnesses and any other evidence that they have. The following general rules will apply to this hearing. All testimony shall be taken under oath and recorded by mechanical means. The rules of evidence shall not apply. The standard of proof is a preponderance of the evidence, which means more than likely not. All relevant evidence, including any hearsay, may be admitted. If there is an objection to a question or the introduction of a piece of evidence, you must state objection and explain your objection briefly. I, as the presiding officer, shall rule on all objections before the hearing will continue. However, any board member may demand that a ruling of the presiding officer be put to a vote of the entire board. And in that case, the vote of the board will be the final ruling on the objection. Generally, it is not appropriate to object to a question or the introduction of evidence unless you believe the same is not relevant to these proceedings. After the hearing, the board may conduct deliberations in private away from the parties. At this time, the administration can begin with their opening statement.
On March 1st, I received a letter. It says from Mr. Fox, says I'm formally writing to recommend expulsion of E005, a 12th grade student at Gilmer County High School due to a serious violation of West Virginia Department of Education Policy 4373 and West Virginia Code 182C-3, both of which prohibit harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Following a thorough investigation, E005 admitted that she was responsible for an online Instagram account referred to as GCHS Burn Book. The account was used to target, harass, and publicly humiliate multiple students within our school community through derogatory posts, harmful comments, and the intentional spread of rumors. This conduct is in direct violation of West Virginia Code, which defines bullying as the intentional, written, verbal, physical, or electronic communication that a reasonable person would know could cause physical harm, damage to property, create fear of harm, or contribute to an intimidating, threatening, or emotionally abusive educational environment. Additionally, West Virginia Department of Education Policy 4373 explicitly prohibits bullying, harassment, intimidation in all forms, including through electronic communication and social media platforms. E005's actions created a hostile and emotional unsafe environment for multiple students, significantly disrupting the educational process and violating the rights of others to feel safe at school.
Mr. Fox?
Okay, on February 26th, I was made aware of Instagram posts that were used to publicly humiliate multiple Gilmer County High School students through derogatory posts and harmful comments. These actions created an unsafe and hostile environment within our school community for the following 2 days. After a thorough investigation, which involves West Virginia State Police, student E005 admitted to being part of this Instagram account and took part in working with another student to make this happen. After a thorough investigation, which involved the West Virginia State Police, it became clear that this behavior violated the West Virginia Policy 4373 and West Virginia Code 182C3, both of which prohibit harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Given the severity of these violations and negative impact on our school, I would like you to take in consideration moving forward about these actions.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Does the administration have any witnesses that they called?
No, I don't know. Mr. Fox probably has inclusion of evidence.
Okay,
For
yep.
this one.
Mr. Fox, if you'll present evidence you have.
Yes, this is a written statement from student 005 explaining her part in the Instagram accounts, and you also have the other information as well.
And I think, Mr. Fox, you want to include the printouts of the actual
Yes,
burn
sir.
book as evidence
Yes,
in this
sir.
case.
Let me read that statement again right quickly. I know it's not the one to look at, but I just.
Board's already read or seen the post, and we're reading the statements now. Wouldn't take a few minutes to. While we're finishing up with those statements, does the administration have any closing arguments or closing statements that need to be made? Mr. Fox?
Yes, sir. Just given the severity of these violations and the negative impact on not just our school, but these individual students, I would like you to take in consideration the expulsion and not just for, once again, for the school, but for those students and to ensure the safety and that well-being of the students and to uphold the respect and supportive educational atmosphere in our school.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fox. Dr. Minnie, do you have any closing statement?
Just to make sure that the board understands that this page was made in the name of Gilmer County High School, using Gilmer County High School logo to affect a broader population of people, understanding that the students didn't do this on a one-off personal type of communication on Instagram at home. This is directly tied to the school because it was named GCHS Burn Book.
Okay, would the board like to go to executive session to discuss? Are we ready to hear superintendent's recommendation? I believe we're ready to hear the recommendation then. Dr. Minnie?
Let me find that. First in a different spot. I recommend that student E005 be expelled for not more than 2 consecutive semesters and be located at the ALC at the Calhoun-Gilmer Career Center Day Program if space is available. Also will recommend that transportation be provided as long as there are no issues riding the bus to the Career Center with behavior. Also recommend that at the 9 weeks, the high school principal review the status, and if the student maintains a C average, has good attendance, and 0 discipline referrals, they will be considered to return from the ALC to participate in Gilmer County High School.
Make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation for expulsion hearing E005. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All righty. That will finish that section of the agenda. We have nothing under continuous improvement for this evening, so we'll go to the superintendent's update. Dr. Minnie.
First, I want to say congratulations to Johnny Eisenhart on his retirement. He's put a lot of years in. He's a very good employee. Just wanted to wish him well in his retirement and recognize him for his years of service and dedication to Gilmer County schools. Wanted to do a little report out on the National AASA Conference, which is the Superintendent's National Conference that I went to. It was a very good conference this year, a whole different tone and theme. Some of the highlighted sessions I went to were building teams for thriving districts, social media for student wellness, aligning apprenticeships to transform classrooms, reclaiming the positive narrative to protect good teachers, and a mind shift over cell phones, path to go phone free and have phone free zones in schools. Those are all things that I felt were interesting topics to me that were relevant to what we were doing in Gilmer County schools. I got some really good ideas. Talked to a lot of vendors. One of the major themes of the entire conference, this is a national movement. AI is everywhere. I'm just telling you, it's across all sectors in education. And we're thinking of AI like ChatGPT that, the students are typing papers on. It has so many tools that are becoming available. There were parent communication devices with AI that would link missing assignments and provide parents consistent updates and what they needed to work on with their student. There was things for safety programs, weapons detection, tutoring programs where it goes back. The AI literally tutors kids at home and provides them examples and understands the learner and can tell them exactly what step of the problem that they need help with and identify those students' needs. And they learn the learner, much like ChatGPT learns how we write. It learns the learner and figures out the best step to help them. It just was across the board in so many different sectors of education. It was kind of surprising. They'd mentioned it the last few years, but this year you got to see the programs. It wasn't just ChatGPT. It was people building programs to do things that would benefit. There was a lot of things that were fluff that weren't useful, but there was a lot of new ideas that were useful there with AI, and that was something that I picked up from the conference and how to utilize AI to impact. There were some AI programs, they made bold statements. We can reduce chronic absenteeism using AI by 10%. We can increase math scores by guaranteed 5% or your money back using AI math tutors. So it was a different concept than just, before in the past it was, how can we figure out when students are cheating using AI? Well, now AI has become, they're using it as a supplemental teaching tool. They're using it as a parent engagement tool. They're using it as a safety in school tool. It was just amazing how much
I
it
know
had
what
grown.
Sarah Connor has to say about that.
So,
Terminator.
yeah, I know. So it was a big theme, and that was one of the major themes that I took back. Was it is definitely there. A lot of good things happening, and West Virginia was well represented. I think I was one of 16 or 17 superintendents that represented West Virginia, and learned a lot. I appreciate you guys letting me go to that. That's where I get all the ideas of, and just tons of vendors that have good products that you can see and pick up ideas of what products are out there. I want to wish the girls basketball team good luck. We've planned out kind of our plan, which is an early release at 12:30 on hopefully Thursday and Friday. And that will allow us to get our pep buses and things down there and provide transportation for our students and still have learning going on during the day and be able to count those days where it doesn't affect us in a negative way when it comes to our calendar. But I wanted to wish Coach Chapman and all the girls, it's been a special season, and wish them good luck, and just really thank them for the tremendous effort that they've had this season. I will be trying to put out all of my stuff. I plan to go. I plan to put out my Friday bulletin and those things while I'm down there. I'm going to work during the day. And other than that, like I said, I just want to Johnny Eisenhardt's been a great employee, and I want to make sure that we do something for him and recognize Johnny. He is a one-of-a-kind type of employee. So that's all I've got.
All righty, we'll move to board member comments, and since I switched it up last meeting, we'll switch it back and start with Mr. Chapman.
I also would like to commend Johnny, and I'll be looking for his
is to pass him as far as a substitute bus driver next meeting. That's kind of how it goes. And then I want to wish the girls good luck, and I want to congratulate the girls good luck, yes, at the tournament next week. I hope everybody can make it there. We always get, like the best cheer section. I hope to see that again. So, but the other thing I want to do is congratulate Gage Goodrich on his wrestling achievements this past week at the state wrestling tournament down in Huntington. He is a freshman, and I can't remember the weight class, maybe the 106 class, but got second. And then he received another award, and it's kind of like an MVP, but they awarded him because they were just with his personality and sportsmanship. They gave him another award besides being runner-up. So that's huge, though. That's big for our wrestling program, a new program. And I think he just really represented us well. And there was another gentleman that went down with him, and I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with his family like I am with the Goodriches, but I want to commend him as well.
All righty. I'll go quick because basically kind of same thing. Again, congratulations, Johnny Eisenhart. He was my bus driver a few years back, and we always had a good time and got to school safely. So again, good luck to the girls as they go and compete in Charleston. That'll be fun to go down and see the action take place. Just like Brett said, I just seen reports of how good Gage done at the wrestling tournament. So, throw a shout out to him with his accomplishments. And then I would like to thank Mr. Fox again with some of this, stuff that sometimes we don't like to see, but, holding people accountable and making sure that our schools are safe and we're taking care of business as we should be. That's all I have.
I attended the WVU Extension Service meeting where we approved the budget for this year. Daisy was here and presented, so there's not much more to say about that as we approved our contribution once again to the Extension Service. I want to congratulate the girls on getting this far. I'm very excited for them as they trip off to Charleston. Great job to the wrestlers. And Johnny was my kid's bus driver, and I appreciate all his years of hauling them around and many other kids, and want to thank him for his many years of service.
Mr. Freshour.
No comment.
Mr. Martin.
Yeah, since Mr. Fox here, I got a good question. You get the NAEP results back yet? Yes or no?
I do not have those.
Okay. I knew they used to come out normally in January, so I couldn't remember if they came to you or they came to Dr. Minnie. But also with everybody else, I'd like to congratulate the girls and finish the job and get her done Saturday. We're partially there, but finish what we started. And other than Dr. Minnie and probably myself, with Mr. Goodrich, with Gage, unless you've worked with wrestling, you don't have any idea how much work went into those accomplishments. And he was awarded the outstanding wrestler. And normally that doesn't go to a second place person.
Kind of like an MVP.
Yeah, and that normally goes to the winner of the class. But they were really impressed with him. And also, Mr. Fox, this might be a good time to reteach the staff and students about bullying and online stuff and all those kind of things. Unfortunately, might be a teachable moment, and never pass up one of those. And the Career Center has started their clinicals with their nursing students. They're in Minnie Hamilton. She takes both groups of them in there, and they're dealing with the patients. They do a phenomenal job. I know that to be firsthand. I've seen them work when they were bringing stuff and taking care of them, and the residents really appreciate what they're doing. If any of you have time, when they have their pinning ceremony for their kids, for their CNAs, it would be worth your time to go down there and observe that. Those kids have worked really, really, really hard, and it's quite an experience. And like I said, also the Career Center had a career day the other day I stopped, they had 25 vendors that were present from all occupations, went from unions to colleges, vocational schools where they can get money to go to school. The electrical union that Calhoun and Gilmer's in was present. And like I said, there was 25 different vendors and those kids were going around and a lot of them were asking high-tech questions because they were interested in, what, just going to give me some money? What can I get? Where can I go? So it was a really good experience for them. And I also would like to congratulate Johnny. He's been a Gilmer County employee for a long time, and he's transported a lot of kids and done that. So we just need to get him should have given him a substitute paper before we approved the other. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Barton. Just one more housekeeping task that I thought of. Do we have the high school LSIC meeting set? Because I did get questions about it as to when that would be. So again, Mr. Fox, March 31st. Okay.
One thing that I was gonna follow up with this group, we're gonna have the statutory special meeting for the budget. That's the one, I need to schedule that the 24th if we can, if that works for everybody. If that's 24th, that we leave open for.
This month?
Yes, we leave open, has to happen before the 28th. Of course, our board meeting's scheduled for after the 28th. And the reason for is because spring break. And we don't have to have it the 24th. We can have it before or after that.
I actually have one more thing too.
And JT said the 31st. Correct. Okay.
The statutory meeting has to be open, and then it stays open until April 5th.
That Tuesday.
That first Tuesday in April,
Second.
or second Tuesday in April. And then remember, we've done those in the past where they stay open and then come back.
Now, I'm telling you, people, we got the time change and there's sunshine out there. That means I'm unavailable till
I want
it's
to thank
100
Mr.
degrees.
Cox for giving us all a heads up. The ham and bacon sale is next Thursday, the
Yeah.
20th.
Sure.
So get out and spend some money for the FFA program.
For the meeting that would have been the 24th, is there another later in that week you can push it, or does it have to be then?
It doesn't have to be, it's just that's spring break week. We could we have it on that Thursday, would be next Thursday?
27th?
Let's see.
We'll do it then.
Yeah,
When?
well, 24th.
20th?
I'm,
20th,
the reason I ask is
ham and bacon sale.
I'm headed to Chicago on the 18th. I'll be going
I can't do the 20th.
20, if it's the 24th.
You can do the 24th and
That's
just
a
call in,
Tuesday,
Larry.
then.
I have to take care of the.
Yeah, give me 6 days.
I can't do the 19th.
So 25th.
Yeah, the reason why we didn't have it is because we had spring break.
That's right, it's a Monday.
And that pushes us, our scheduled meeting date is pushed beyond the 31st.
Well, I mean, if y'all need to have it when I'm
Meeting next week?
gone, it's fine.
Can I,
What about the 18th or the 17th?
Can-
Or 17th is St. Patrick's Day. Who cares? 17th, 18th?
17th, not the 18th, I can do the 17th.
17th, can we do it then? Is that too quick, Ginger?
We have to have notice. We have to have the agenda out on
What can I call in?
12.
You can call in if you want.
If I call in, then it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
if I'm back, I'm back, but
I mean, if you're in there, you can still vote on the phone if we want to do the 24th.
I mean,
just, well, for me, leave it to 24th. If I can't make it back, I'll call in.
Make a
Yeah.
motion to adjourn?
I think we're back to the 24th is where we're at. And then Larry will just, yeah, and then Larry will just call in. Is that good with everybody else? That's- yeah.
Great.
I know.
Okay, so we'll set that one for the 24th.
5 o'clock.
Yep.
Safe.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Okay, do I hear a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried, meeting adjourned.
Me too?
It's farming time.